Reproduction. Here we are going to discuss about human reproduction. First, we are going to have an idea about what is reproduction. When we say reproduction, each and every process we try to send some information from one generation to another generation. So what kind of material we are going to send it to next generation, and how we are going to send it to the next generation, and how and where it will be get produced. So these things we are going to discuss right now. Let me give you a small information about reproduction. In mnemonics I'm going to provide here a GIF, SIP, go. It might be a new thing for you. Just this kind of information will give you a proper idea about what are all the events involved in the reproduction. First we will say what is G. It is gametogenesis. I, insemination. F, fertilization. C, cleavage. I, implantation. P, placentation. G, gastrulation. O, organogenesis. P, parturition. So we got around 9 steps. We can say 9 different events is going to take place in your reproductive system. So totally in this lesson we are going to discuss one by one. First we will discuss about gametogenesis, G. So when we say gametogenesis, a gametes are, maybe we can say 2 types of gametes are possible in the human reproductive system, specifically sperm and ovum formation. So the formation of sperm is called spermatogenesis and formation of ovum is called oogenesis. So let me understand both one by one, and then we will understand how it will be discharged or inseminated, and then how it will be fertilized, and how it will be cleavaged to form blastula or blastocyst, and how it will be implanted in the uterus of endometrium, and how it will be forming a layer called placenta for the communication between mother and baby, and later on we will understand how the process called gastrulation is taking place. Later on we will understand how the organ is going to form in that particular zygote, and finally how the baby is going to come out. So these many steps, so these are the basic events that is going to take place in your reproduction. So first let me discuss about sperm formation. I already gave you the idea. The sperm formation is otherwise called spermatogenesis. Okay, so spermatogenesis. First point, spermatogenesis. In this event there are 4 steps involved, and we should know where it is going to happen and which cell is going to perform this function. So specifically these sperm formation or ovum formation will be normally handled by different organs. Specifically there we can say in male we call them as testes, and female we call them as ovaries. So first we will discuss about the function of testis properly. This testis is actually lying in a bag called scrotum. So inside the scrotum there will be a lot of tubules, maybe a small tube-like structures coiled and kept inside, and that tubules we can call it as seminiferous tubules. That we can call it as a seminiferous tubules. From the seminiferous tubules, which is going to form, that means we can say sperm formation, that going to happen or occur in spermatogonia, specific cells that we can say germinal epithelial cells. So in that germinal epithelial cells this kind of process is going to happen, germinal epithelial cells. Specifically we call them as spermatogonia. From this spermatogonia the process is going to happen, and they're going to form sperm in 4 different steps. The 4 different steps we can say, the first step in this formation we can call that as spermatogonia will be turned into an immediate thing called primary spermatocyte. And then it will be converted into a secondary spermatocyte. So later on, this primary and secondary spermatocyte will be later on converted into the next material called spermatids. So let me write here spermatids. So these spermatids will be turned into spermatozoa, so active sperm. So in this process, the first step will undergo by a cell division called mitosis. That means spermatogonia will be turned into spermatozoa by a cell division called mitosis. Later on, here the primary spermatocyte will be turned into secondary spermatocyte by meiosis, but it is meiosis 1. The same way, the spermatids will be turned into spermatozoa, or maybe the spermatocyte will be turned into spermatids by a meiosis 2. Okay, so finally the last step for the formation is spermiogenesis. Using this spermiogenesis, spermatids will be turned into spermatozoa. So spermiogenesis. So that's all about the process called spermatogenesis. So first, in male reproductive system, we able to produce gamete from the testis, that is called primary reproductive organ. From the organ, it was developed and it should be released or inseminated through the accessory ducts. So without that ducts, it cannot come out. So let me see the other important unit which is responsible for releasing the sperm. So when we talk about this the next process, the ducts which is involved in this process. So which are the ducts involved? The first one, after producing the sperm, it will normally come out from the seminiferous tubules and it will enter into the important region called retitestis. After retitestis, it will enter the next region called vasa efferentia. After reaching to the vasa efferentia, it will enter into the epididymis. After reaching to the epididymis, it will enter into the vasa differentia. After reaching to the vasa deferens, so retitestis, vasa efferentia, epididymis, vasa deferens. From the vasa deferens, it will come out and enter into the spermatic cord. From the spermatic cord, it will enter into the next important region called glands. So these are all the ducts which is responsible for transporting the sperm which is produced in testis through the seminiferous tubules. So the cells involved in this sperm production is germinal epithelium cells. So from there, the sperm will be produced in 4 different steps and moving through retitestis, from retitestis to vasa efferentia to epididymis, and then moving to the vasa deferens, and vasa deferens to the spermatic cord, the cord which normally comprises of blood vessels, lymphatic system, all those things along with the ducts of reproductive system. So through that it come out and from there it move to the next location. Male reproductive system. So as I was discussing, once again I repeat the process. For each and every process we need to remember those steps which I already gave you. So as we are discussing about male reproductive system, I told you the important organ for the reproduction is testis. In that testis, if you enter into the depth of testis, you can find seminiferous tubules. The seminiferous tubules got different types of cells. Practically speaking, 3 types of cells: germinal epithelium, Sertoli cells, and then the third important cells called Leydig cells. So these three cells are important for the production of sperm in your human reproductive system. So as I told you, this is going to produce sperm. This is going to nurture or nourish the sperm. This is going to activate or motivate the sperm production. So by producing testosterone, a hormone, specifically androgen. So apart from that, I gave you the pathway how it will come out. So it is going to get produced in seminiferous tubules, and then it will come out through specific parts of the reproductive system, what we can call it as accessory ducts. That is reti testis. From the reti testis, it will enter into the vasa efferentia, vasa efferentia to epididymis, and later on it will come out from the epididymis to vas deferens. These are all what we can call it as accessory ducts. So we can say they are all ducts associated with the testis. So we can call them as accessory ducts. From that, it's going to enter into the glands, that is called accessory glands. Few glands we can call it as seminal vesicle. Later on it will enter into the prostate gland. Finally it will enter into the final gland called bulbourethral gland. So these three glands are very important for just changing the sperm into semen. So we can call it as glands, accessory glands, helpful for the conversion of sperm into semen. So I gave you the idea. There the sperm production takes place, but I told you it needs 4 steps. The list of steps which I already gave you the idea. If you want, I just once again repeat the point. The steps are: first mitotic division, then meiotic 1, meiotic 2, spermiogenesis. So these 4 steps are very important. So during that time where we can find the spermatogonia, that sperm mother cell will be turned into primary spermatocyte, and then primary spermatocyte will be turned into secondary spermatocyte. Secondary spermatocyte will be turned into spermatids, and later on finally spermatids will be turned into spermatozoa. This step is very much important. So this is normally we got 4 steps. And I already told you Sertoli cells. This is going to be called as Nurse cells. It's going to nourish the sperm. And finally we got the Leydig cells. I told you it is going to produce an androgen called testosterone. So this testosterone is an androgen which is going to get produced by Leydig cells. In the spermatogenesis, the sperm formation is normally depending upon 2 pituitary hormones. So it will be controlled by the pituitary. The 2 important hormones controlling the process is follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. Without these 2 hormones, this process is not possible. Okay, so follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. This particular follicle stimulating hormone is involved in the stimulation of testicular growth and enhances the production of androgen binding protein. So this will involve in androgen binding protein production, and also they involved in testicular growth. So these 2 processes will normally considered by follicle stimulating hormone. And when come to the point of luteinizing hormone, they involve in the process of testosterone preparation. So let me say where this ABP will be produced, and its androgen binding protein will be produced in Sertoli cells. And where will be this testosterone will be produced? It will be produced in Leydig cells. So as I told you, this androgen binding protein, once it is produced by the Sertoli cells, this will be helpful in spermatogenesis. So it is a very important protein, helpful for spermatogenesis. Okay, so in Leydig cells in the Leydig cells, luteinizing hormone will act on the Leydig cells, and because of that, what will happen? A hormone called testosterone will be produced, and the testosterone function is also to stimulate the process of spermatogenesis. So both will do the same process. So androgen binding protein and testosterone, they both involved in the formation of spermatogenesis, apart from the hormonal impact. Okay. So we should understand how the sperm structure will look like once it will be released. The sperm head, and then neck, and then tail. So in the neck, the corner portion, or maybe the tip of the specifically the sperm, very important structure, what we can call it as an acrosome. So in this acrosome, an important enzyme will be produced or present. So that enzyme, we call that as hyaluronidase. This enzyme is responsible for penetration of the ovum. So during the fertilizing process, this is helpful to penetrate the head inside the ovum. And apart from that, the neck portion, which normally comprises of a very important structure called spiral mitochondria, or we can say mitochondrial spiral. This we can also call it as another name, Nebenken. This is helpful for the sperm motility. They will produce the material called ATP. With this help of this particular ATP, they can easily swim and then penetrate the ovum head. And apart from that, the tail consists of a central axial filament. If you can see the central axial filament in the tail. So it will normally have a lot of small axes that we can call it as axoneme. This is a type of microtubule responsible for swimming, and each and every time once it is ejaculated, sperm is ejaculated, we can expect around 200 to 300 million sperms can be released. But out of this, one sperm will try to reach the ovum and they penetrate with the help of hyaluronidase enzyme. So this is a process of sperm formation and the structure of sperm. And apart from that, there is another hormone, GnRH, gonadotropin releasing hormone. This normally gonadotropin releasing hormone stimulates the secretion of two gonadotropins, specifically this follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. So these two gonadotropin hormone will be released with the help of GnRH. What I told you is gonadotropin releasing hormone that will be produced from the hypothalamus, axon anterior pituitary. So this is produced from hypothalamus and axon, a specific portion is called anterior pituitary. So they act on the anterior pituitary, where in anterior pituitary this FSH and LH will be released. This FSH and LH will act on different cells. This FSH is going to act on Sertoli cells, and this LH is going to act on Leydig cells. By acting on this will produce androgen binding protein, and this will produce androgen binding protein, and this will produce Leydig cells. Once the sperm is formed, it will be supported by the Sertoli cells and supported by the Leydig cells. Sertoli cells nurture it by important protein called androgen binding protein, and Leydig cells will produce testosterone and involved in the formation of sperm. And once it is produced, it will be released through the ducts and nourished by gland, and once it is nourished by the gland, it come out through the penis as semen. So the sperm will not come out as sperm, they will come out as sperm plus seminal plasma, that's equal to semen. So they come out as semen. And also the other important function apart from the androgen binding protein is called inhibin. This inhibin will also be produced along with this. So this will be acting against the sperm formation. So there are two important things, androgen binding protein plus inhibin. Inhibin acts against the testosterone function. Okay, so these are all the points which we need to discuss in male reproductive system.